Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning, Bix Weir, Roadrunner.com. With your morning corner is your sip of chaga coffee. Lots going on today. They're playing with the moving averages, as they always do. I would like to point out today is a day that silver and gold are not allowed to move up. Jerome Powell gave a speech this morning at Jackson Hole. These days they're not allowed to move up. It was very, very, we got to increase interest rates and all that shit. You really want to destroy the banks? Keep doing what you're doing. Not that they can survive anyway. But, so here's what's happening. You see, silver was up a little bit. Now it's down a little bit. Here's the 100% the reason. This is what, in the dailies, you can see what's going on. This is down to the minute, down to the second. Look at the 1 year is where we get the moving averages. Look at where the price is, right here, right at that moving average. Now, the tech traders, they program in their trades, and they base them on moving averages. Some use the 50-day moving average, some day the 100, some people use the 200-day moving average. Those are the three moving averages that they use. Now, when it breaks through a moving average, boom, automatic programs get triggered. So as the whole idea behind the game right now is for the banks, the criminal riggers, to get out of their short position. Later today is Friday, later today, early evening, I think, they're going to post the commitment and traders report, which should show, this is as of last Tuesday, should show a massive drop in the short position, even probably they're going long. And then the question is, as the price rises, will they short into the rise? That's all we need to know. So right now, two things going on. Number one, with the Fed meeting, gold and silver are not allowed to move up. This is the Exchange Stabilization Fund. I think they're in there all the time, but hey, they're not allowed to move up or down when Jerome Powell is speaking, so don't expect anything today. Matter of fact, I wouldn't expect anything until next Wednesday after the Tuesday cutoff. And then what you expect, I don't know. I think we get near September 11th and it's Katie bar the doors type of thing. But tonight is Friday, which also means we're going to have the high potential of bank failure night. There's a lot lining up. A lot just got downgraded. But for right now, silver completely under control as usual. Fun to look at. And you can see it's the moving averages that they're gunning for. Because they know under the moving averages, all the automatic programs kick in. Brain dead traders. That's anybody who does technical analysis is a brain dead trade. One of the key market riggers, a company called Virtu Financial, run by Vinny Viola, used to be called EWT LLC. Now, EWT LLC stands for Elliott Wave Theory. And those, all you tech traders know what the Elliott Wave theory is. I've been screaming for years it should call it the idiot wave theory, because that's how the big banks fleece these tech traders. So as these moving averages are breached, that's when the big money, the riggers, cover their shorts. So they'll probably slam it down. As you can see in the past, they let it go up once, and then they slam it down hard. And then it runs up to the big run to let off steam. Here we have it again. Little bit, bang, a little bit, all the way down, just staying along the moving averages, trying to cover as many shorts as possible. And at some point, they start eating their own vomit type of thing, and they're covering their shorts with their own shorts, and it's a mess with their own longs. And it turns kind of messy. That's when they allow the steam to roll up. That's when they allow all the moving averages, so all the tech traders will get in the higher it goes, and that's when they start fleecing them by using shorts and then slam it back down. It's the same game. It's been going on for, I can't even tell you how long. But there are other games going on as well. Yesterday, another massive day, 110 million contracts, or 110,000 contracts traded on the COMEX, which is 550 million ounces of electronic derivative traded yesterday of silver on the COMEX. It's like, at some point you got to say, what the fuck? Everybody's so used to these numbers, they don't think it matters. I think it matters a hell of a lot. because that's how you can rig the price, by using multiple trades going at milliseconds per trade. Kind of what J.P. Morgan got busted for. You think they've stopped? No. They have till September 23rd to keep a low profile, and then you're going to see the J.P. Morgan house account just explode with silver derivatives, and they get to start again. That's the big question. Can they survive another 1 month? I don't know. If the good guys are there, and I think they are, they're going to shut it down before that. But we'll find out soon enough, right? Another huge exchange for physical. Exchange for physical, you're taking your COMEX contract, a derivative contract, long, and you're moving it over to LBMA for delivery. Harvey Organ at Harvey Organ blog keeps good track of this. So right now he's got it breaking. It is currently, including yesterday's, it's over 150 million ounces this month. That is the number two amount, at least in the last couple of years, of exchange for physicals demanding delivery. That's a hell of a lot. Remember, on the COMEX, I think the biggest delivery month ever was like 80 million ounces. Who knows what the Hunt brothers were trying to do? They had 100 million ounces long, 110 million ounces long. They could have taken delivery, except they were playing on their game. That's why all these trades are going to London. You're no longer playing on the game of the criminal COMEX. You're playing a different criminal game at the LBMA, but you can take immediate delivery over there, supposedly. March 2022 was the largest ever at 207 million ounces. Very interesting there. And it's 1 year past the silver squeeze. Does it have something to do with JP Morgan and Bank of America lease? Absolutely. Probably the majority of this stuff is in the lease type of transactions. So that's the way they hide it from we the people. All right. Again, Jerome Powell came out. A full speech says, we ain't done yet. Economic uncertainty calls for agile monetary policy making. This is what he's saying. Fed will decide next rate moves based on data. Attentive to signs economy not cooling as expected. Inflation remains too high. By the way, the inflation, as energy goes up, inflation is going to blow through sky high. We will have deflation, though, I think, at some time, and that will be a result of the banks shutting down. Obviously, we will have massive deflation. There's no one will have any money to spend because the banks sucked it all away. And that's coming up September 9th, the week of around September 9th. This is the FDIC quarterly banking profile. Every quarter they come out with, it takes them a couple months to put together how much the banks are losing. This was last year's for the second quarter. This was the one that shocked them and made them go into this meeting saying, oh my God, what are we going to do? The banks are so underwater, to the tune of, back then it was $450 billion. And then it came down low. It's all got to do with short-term bonds. So short-term bonds improved a little. And the second quarter this year, they got destroyed, and they're even being larger. The destruction is immense right now in the bond value, the value of the bonds that these banks hold on their books. As the interest rates goes up, the bond loses value because they're locked in at like 2%. It's just crazy. And who would buy a 2% bond when you could buy a 6% bond, right? So the banks are losing their asses. And we should find that out right before September 11th. Hint, hint, hint. But remember, September 11th, 2008 is the day and the moment that the takedown was about to happen. They bailed them out because Barack Obama created trillions of dollars. But they had to go to Congress first. And when they went to Congress, Congress's first vote was no bailout. I think if Congress is confronted with it again, the same thing, I don't think the Democrats or the Republicans will bail it out. Democrats want to crash the system. Remember that. Republicans want to make the Democrats look foolish, which is not hard to do. But so that's a double whammy. It's a perfect time for the banks to come begging to the U.S. government, to Congress. Now, Jerome Powell could he bail everybody out? I don't know if he can on the banking side, because that's the problem now. It's not going to be bailing out derivatives holders so much. It's these are real assets that have lost value, not derivative games. So yeah, I don't think they can go to Congress for any kind of bailout. And as Greenspan said long ago, the U.S. will never default on their debt. I don't know why people are saying that the U.S. dollar is going to be defaulted on, but the purchasing power of that dollar is what gets destroyed. And that is absolutely going to be destroyed. I do think we're going to have two currencies running simultaneously, kind of like China does, the yuan and the renminbi. You got the I think it's the renminbi for the local people, their citizens, and the yuan for global trade. The United States will see that when they issue gold and silver money to the people, and keeping the fiat money system in place, watching that get destroyed. Grisham's law says that bad money drives out good. What does that mean? If you have it, we experienced it in 1965 when we went off the silver standard, and they took all the silver out of the coinage. Everybody was hoarding the pre-1965 silver. Everybody who knew, long term what was going to happen. The U.S. government claimed to have 3 billion ounces at the time that they were going to sell into the market, thus destroying the price, but it never happened. At least not that we know of, because in 1980 they still had 3 billion ounces. They've sold off all that silver since, supposedly. A lot of this stuff you're not allowed to know. And we do know that the U.S. Mint is working feverishly behind the scenes, not Ventures Gibson, but another group within the Mint, probably within the U.S. Marines, hint, who guard the Grand Canyon, hint, to make gold and silver coinage and make it useful for people. And that means you need to have an identifier on every coin, because no one's going to trust anybody to hold their gold and silver. Now, if you have an identifier on the coin, you can literally say that's my specific piece of gold coin or silver coin that's being held at the, let's say, the post office or the U.S. Mint. I don't think the banks will be around at that point in time. Although the U.S. government can use the banking system, the vaulting at least there. A lot of things pointing to that. Obviously, the abrupt retirement of David Ryder, the head of the Mint, the guy who was in charge of the Honeywell program to put identifiers on every coin, and it's the crystalline structure of each coin is different, and they figured out a way to measure that years ago and implement it, and it's cheap to do. So we could easily go to a gold and silver physical coin standard, or we can put it on a blockchain. Don't be afraid of blockchain, my friends. Be afraid of the way it's structured and trust but verify type of thing. If a CBDC is built exactly like Bitcoin, it would do well, but they do not want to build those things like Bitcoin. They do not want open source software. They don't want to limit the amount of tokens or CBDCs that can be made. They want full control. They want to be able to turn you off. You can't turn a Bitcoin person off. You could try, and if you go through the banking system, that's their cutoff point, through the fiat system. But yeah, I can transact in Bitcoin completely synonymously. Everybody could see my public key, but no one will be able to stop it. Who could stop it? Nobody. It's a permissionless system. It's a great system, and we can adapt that to the U.S. gold and silver coinage being used as money. Especially with these identifiers those identifiers could be placed on an open source blockchain. It could be placed on the Litecoin blockchain, for example, or Bitcoin or Theta or whatever you want. I think Litecoin is probably the most likely, because there are certain features within Litecoin. But would that violate Reggie Middleton's patent also? I would say probably. So Cliff's Data did have the U.S. government coming to Reggie for help. And he also had the price of Veritasium surpassing the price of Bitcoin. Cheers to that, all you Veritasium holders. Although that would mean the only way the tokens would have any worth is if the U.S. government gave up holding the 98 million of the 100 million Veritasium tokens that Reggie minted originally. It's a little complex, but not that complex. I would like to point out that of all the SEC, slam downs of cryptocurrencies, and there's been a lot, only one of them is unresolved. The only one of them that's not in court is unresolved. And that's Reggie Middleton. I'm saying it's unresolved because the U.S. government still has frozen 98 million of the 100 million coins. They haven't sold them. They haven't dumped them. They haven't burned them. They're sitting there for something, waiting for something. So we'll see what happens. All right, big news here. Trump has just released his campaign picture. Yes, this is his campaign picture. This is the Trump mugshot. I love this. Look at that look on Trump. Now, truthfully, for me, they keep saying that's his mugshot. I mean, it's just too perfect. So it was a canned mugshot, or this is a joke type of thing. I don't know. I love it, though. What a great mugshot that would be. If that is it, you can tell by the lighting and all that stuff that they're going to want him to make him look as washed out as possible. They aren't going to give him this. I mean, it looks almost, photoshopped. Anyway, it is what it is. Who knows what's going on? The crazy liberals are doing. What this has done is regenerated, re-energized the Trump base. Absolutely. If he goes into prison at the time of election, 3/4 of the country is going to vote for him, and he'll just all he has to do is pardon himself. And everybody they're holding for the January 6th tour of the tour of Congress. That was no insurrection. My God, there were no weapons found, for Christ's sake. The insanity of these people is just shocking. He threw him in jail for protesting the election. I got video of every single politician for the last 10 years protesting the election. Hillary Clinton was the biggest. We have an illegitimate president. Everybody on the CNN side. We have an illegitimate president. He's not my president. Blah blah blah. Every election has been rigged in America since I don't even know when. At least during the implementation of computer voting. Our voting system's broken. The U.S. Mint, or the U.S. Post Office, invented and patented a way to use the blockchain for voting before the 2016 election, but it was never implemented. It is sitting there ready if we ever return to a free America. But right now we are in occupied America by a hell of a lot of crazy people. Democrats and Republicans, by the way. This goes both ways. Speaking of the Republican debate, this is on CNN. Fox News GOP debate averages 12.8 million viewers without Trump, indicating strong interest in the rest of the Republican field. What in the hell are you talking about? Only 12.8 million people watched it. CNN said, oh, Trump's got no say at all. Let's see how many people. So Trump and Tucker Carlson had a little talk at the exact same time. So 12.8 million people watched the presidential debate for the Republicans. How many watched Tucker? 254 million. 200 times the amount of people watched a discussion with Donald Trump during that time. And after. 254 million views. And how many votes did Trump get in the election? Well, this is around the world, mind you. 254 million views. Trump did fine. He always does fine. I'm surprised he's still cognizant of what he's talking about. Because he's older. What is he? 80-something? Look at Biden. Wouldn't you love to see a debate between Biden and Trump now? It will never happen. Joe will never go to a debate. I heard the Democrats just call off debates. I'm reiterating, I think we will not have another presidential election. So that means something's got to happen between now and then. I think it's the financial implosion that we've long been waiting for. I think it's right around the corner. September, October, it begins. How long it lasts, I don't know. Now, I have some people telling me, well, since they've been working on it so long, it'll only be a couple weeks where the chaos hits, and then they'll implement something good for the country, and we move on from there. I don't feel that. I don't see it. I think, yes, the chaos will hit. Yes, they'll try to implement something, but Like the Road to Ruta documents say, the teacher's guide says, would the people accept what was offered? This is the Road to Ruta documents right out of the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. A lot of the questions was about allocating new resources to a population. If we do go onto a gold and silver standard, as I expect we will, how do you allocate those resources? Who gets what? Let's say the United States government has billions of gold eagles that they've made and tens of billions of silver eagles. Who knows how many? I would say billions of gold, probably the same amount of each. Maybe 3 or 4 billion of each. And then they allocate it to the population. How do you allocate it? Now, Greenspan, what they did in the Road to Ruta documents, remember the comic book, and Ruta was in charge of allocating the colored flowers. What did Ruta do? Ruta did it according to age. And Alan Greenspan was in charge of not only taking care of inflation, which he did take care of it. He inflated it to the moon to destroy the currency, but also Social Security, reform of Social Security. Remember, nobody's touched Social Security. It's taboo. They've fucked with every other thing in the U.S. government, but nobody's allowed to touch Social Security payments. They're not allowed to be invested. They're not there, by the way. It's counted as income for the U.S. government now. But what would be a better way than allocate the new gold and silver currency according to Social Security balances for those who have worked and put in the time? Now, some people don't have Social Security type things. Like I think the Railroad Union doesn't have it, but they have something similar. Obviously, there'll be a lot of tweaks, but people have to decide this, and people have to accept it. That's the key. So I think the U.S. government will come out and say, okay, we've pulled the plug on the system. They won't say that, but the system has crashed because of these evil bankers. We've taken care of the pedophiles. They're all in jail now. We've released a lot of free energy. So that's another thing. A guy sent me a great video on energy. We've been able to make free energy for 100 years probably. But the energy complex, that's like the vast majority of what people do for jobs and for part of GDP. It's the biggest industry in the world, I think. Well, it depends what you use. The banking is up there. We don't need bankers without a fiat monetary system, but we do need energy. And if we can make cheap energy at a millionth of the cost of what we pay now, destroying our atmosphere. Hell, if those guys, all those John Kerry types say, Al Gore, we have to save the planet. Why not just release the free energy that we've had forever? And there's so many different types of free energy. The guy I was listening to is talking about magnetic energy. I've been screaming that for how long? I don't know, since I've been on the Road to Ruta. You have two magnets that repel. You just hold them against, you set them up so that they push each other, and you got a spinning wheel, and that's all you need to create electricity. The guy's video was a hell of a lot better than mine, but the future is not fossil fuels. First of all, they're not even fossil fuels, but we'll not go there. We don't have to go there. In this new world we're heading into, many things will be different. And a lot of people saying to me, oh my God, if they create solar panels that cost 50 cents each and don't use any silver, wouldn't that destroy the price of silver? No. Everything is going to change. There'll be so much less silver used on the industrial side. It'll be shocking. When silver returns to money, to be money, to have a true value, people will use it as money and a store of value. Same with gold, although gold's main use is store of value. But silver should have never been so ingrained in all the things that we consume. It should have been $10,000 an ounce. How many solar panels are you going to make? If it costs $10,000 an ounce for an ounce of silver, you're not going to make any. You're going to figure out different ways to create electricity. So everything is a function of price, and price has been held down for so long that the industrial side has just, everything has silver in it now. Even new cars have over an ounce of silver in them. Nobody really talks about or understands the amount of silver in each Tesla, but they say it's like 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces, maybe. I'm hearing 30 ounces. So will we need electric cars? I think the push to electric cars, if energy is free, yeah, you want an electric car. If electrical energy is free. You don't need gas combustion if you got... Anyway, there's so many things that will change. And we're in the middle of that change. And you got to, as Cliff High says, be dynamic. Don't be static. If you're static, you die literally. If you do what the government tells you coming up, more injections and all that, you'll die. I'm sorry. You're not smart enough to figure it out. We're all going to die anyway. So you just might go earlier than others. That's what I got. Yeah, nice and gloomy. But yeah, silver won't go up today. Probably, my guess is Tuesday that we'll have some Wednesday after the Tuesday close of the COT. I'm really interested in the COT report. It's going to be very exciting, and you can see. And I'm also interested. We've got like 3 or 4 days left of the exchange for physicals. I want to see if it gets over the 200 million ounces. These are actual physical ounces, supposedly, being delivered in London. Who's picking them up? I don't know. Could be the Mint, could be Warren Buffett, could be China, could be anybody with half a brain. And I know you have half a brain, at least half a brain. Go get yourself some physical silver. Friday is always a fun day to load up the truck. If you don't have a local guy, always start with a local guy. Because that's the guy you're going to be selling your silver to, most likely, for whatever the new currency is. If it's silver, you probably won't get rid of it at all. I do think we'll have something like free mintage where you can take your silver bars and go in and have U.S. coinage made. That's a little farther down the line. But definitely, if it goes into confiscation, they have declared that silver eagles and gold eagles are numismatic coins. It is in the law, written into the law. So some people said back in 1933 they didn't confiscate numismatic coins. I never read that part of the law. People have said it, but no, I don't know. I think it was mainly to confiscate the bankers' gold, not the people's gold. Although everybody had to turn it in, supposedly. So that's what I got for you today. Really exciting weekend coming up. Oh, I will be posting the Ginny Moonstone discussion. I just had with her yesterday. Great stuff on the private road. You're going to love it. Also, for you private road members, check out the end of 2022 trouble bank list. This list is going to explode higher when the FDIC comes out in early September and says, here's the banks that are in trouble. Or at least, here's how deep they are. They won't name the specific banks, but by then we'll see a lot of banks be destroyed. By the end of the year, probably all banks. So get your money out of the bank. This is Bix Weir. Oh, hey, you want to join the private road? Hit subscribe today. When silver hits $30, we will not be giving away the silver Ruta coin. We'll probably move on to some crypto. So make sure, if you don't have a silver Ruta coin, or if you want another one, now's the time, because I think we're going to blow by $30 in September, and then it's Katie bar the door. This is Bix.